Okay, well, you're not the only one who couldn't find it, Jeffrey. Don't worry.
I left it rather late to let you know that.
You weren't the last one.
I would win that award.
You won that one, Leanne. So how are we doing? We're missing a few people. Well, you know what, Alan, we can just go with the people that we have.
That's fine with me. And as
and
they
the
come in,
people
I'll just assign. That's not a problem.
Yeah, the people that join are going to end up in our room anyway, right? They're going to
That's
end up in
right.
the, yeah, so
Yeah.
then you can just assign them after that.
Yeah, I can do that.
So have you got most of these people assigned?
Okay, what I have is I have Carm in room 1, Hugh in room 1, I have James in room 1, Leanne in room 1 with Sam. I have Simon in 1 and Steve in 1, and I have Alex, Donna, Jeffrey, and Kathy's iPad in room 2.
So what have we got for Alex? We've got Kathy, Donna, Jeffrey,
And Catherine. And Kathy.
and Catherine. Yeah. Catherine, Donna, Jeffrey, Deborah.
Yeah, for room 1, I'm missing. I mean, for room 2, I'm missing Yi, and I'm missing.
Yeah, I just want to see how many we have for each room, and I think you got about 4 or 5 people for each room, so that's enough.
Yeah, I've got 4 for the room 2 and 7 for room 1.
So Alan,
Okay, let's.
my understanding is at the end of the evening, we're coming back to have a general discussion during the last 10 minutes. Is that
That's
true?
what I was going to say.
Yes.
What I've done.
So will you just send us back, or do we have to do anything on our end?
Well, what I can do is I set the breakout rooms for 2 hours. So the meeting would wrap up at 9 o'clock. So and I'm leaving this up to John. So if John wants at 8:50, I can start closing breakout rooms and bringing people back in. I can send
Okay.
a broadcast message out.
I don't have to do anything.
You
It'll
don't have
just
to do
happen.
anything, no.
Okay, thank you.
I've
That's all.
also set it up so that if people wanted to come back to the main room early, they can. They're not kind of trapped in this breakout room that they can't get back to the main room.
Okay, well, let's go with that, Alan. Let's go with the rooms that we have.
Fine.
We got, 3 or 4 people in each room right now, and
That's fine with me.
as any more come along, we'll add.
That's fine. I'm just trying to help you out as best I can, John. You're leading it.
You're doing a fantastic job. So again, so that everyone knows, we'll Sam, Alex, and myself will work through the Moose file a little bit, 10 minutes or so, and then we'll stop. And the people in the room can try out the techniques that we've demonstrated, ask questions, and then we'll move on to the next section, the next section, the next section. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like
Good.
that.
Leanne, you're muted, so I can see your lips moving, but
Sounds
that's it.
good, thank you.
Give us
That's good. And congratulations on your win the other night. Gold of the month and all that. Very, very well done. Beautiful image.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Great images the other night. I enjoyed them. So I'll open the rooms then, John.
Okay, let's go, Alan.
And they're gone.
So the only one except Deborah should be with Alex, I believe.
With Alex, let me just check here. That's what I thought.
Hi, Deborah. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too.
Room 2, all right. Now, let's just see if we can shift breakout rooms. Unassigned. Deborah, assigned to room 2. So Deborah's going to room 2 now.
Yes.
So you should be there. Now
Bye, Deborah.
you may have to click join. Oh, there's Deborah gone. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. So we have 6. Hi, Gary. I don't know if I said hello earlier.
you did. Thanks.
So let's get started. Actually, I'll share my screen.
I'm just going to say one thing, John. If you see me looking the other way, I've got a second screen with a moose on it. That's why I'm looking that way.
I'm not watching you. I'm not
guilty of
watching
that
you,
as well.
Alan. Don't
No,
worry.
so I'm just saying, in case you're wondering why. I'm not gonna
You know
lie.
what? For this to work for me, I have to minimize this anyway. I can't see anyone.
That's what I thought.
So yeah, I need to figure out how to put Zoom on the other screen. But
Yeah, well, that's what Jocelyn said to me. I said, fine, I'll bring one of the screens up from the warehouse in the basement storage.
yeah.
So I set up another one.
So the moose image. So tonight we'd like to cover these things I've listed on the left here. So I want to expand the canvas a little bit because it's pretty close to the top of the moose. So I'd like to give them a little more room there. But before I do that, I'll tidy up some of the branches that are up there in the grass. If I don't, it will just copy those over to the expanded part of the canvas and I'll have to clean them up then. So easier just to clean them up first and then expand the canvas and then fill in the top. Remove the branches from the rest of the image pretty much, except a couple I leave. Brighten up the moose, sharpen, add a bit of contrast, and perhaps a vignette at the end. So to get started, I'll go with Leslie's favorite and let's see how it does. The in-painting brush. And in-painting is like cloning, except the app is going to choose what pixels to use to replace what I paint. So let's start with this one in the center and click. Am I set to current layer? Yeah, I don't want that layer. I want this layer. Sorry, I had my text layer selected, which I'll turn off now. And I want to be on the background. So I'll click once at the top. Come on. There we go. It's not liking it at all. Why is it not replacing it? Let's see what it does. Okay, it did it that time. And the in-painting brush is like a lot of the other brushes. You should be able to click once to remove a line, go to the other end of the line, hold the shift key and click again. And it will remove everything there. So those couple of branches on the left there, I'll switch to the clone stamp tool, make the brush a little bigger with the bracket keys.
Sorry, John, do you have to switch it to current layer and below?
I don't for this one, Gary, because I'm
Okay.
only have one layer here. But after I expand the top of the canvas, then we'll have to switch to current layer and below.
Okay.
So there's no need for me to do this part on the text layer as I'm just working on the background. And so using the clone stamp tool, you have to choose which pixels you want to use to replace where you're going to paint. And to do that, you put the brush over the spot you want to select, hold the Alt key, and you get this little crosshairs and click once and it will copy from there. Oops. Oh. Let's get rid of that. And I'll try for that little bit above the moose there. Okay. So that will do for now. So to expand the canvas, we'll use the crop tool. and just click and drag to add, I don't know, 5 to 8% to the top of the image. Click on apply or hit enter. And it crops it, and you get this sort of white and gray checkerboard across the top of the image. So we want to select that. So we'll go select alpha range, select partially transparent. And now you can see the marching ants around it. And then go edit in Paint and let the app fill in that section. And to get rid of the marching ants, it's Command D or select, deselect. And as you can see, it's copied over from the top of the image. So we have the top of the moose here. So we got a lot of repetition in this part of it over here. I'm not sure why, but we can just clone some of that out. So again, we'll select the clone stamp. And well, let's start down here. We'll select somewhere to copy from. We'll go down here. And again, this is just selecting and brushing. Oh, and I said I'd do this on a different layer, didn't I, Gary? Well, I will. I'll add a pixel layer and do the cloning on that layer. This is kind of an old school method of how to do this. It just allows you to erase if you make a mistake. It used to be that Photoshop didn't keep much of a history, whereas now these apps keep all of your history as long as you have it open, and you can save the history with the app if you choose to. But when it didn't save the history, it'd be best to do cloning on a separate layer so that you didn't have to go back in the history and erase things that you've already done to repair any mistakes. Like if you noticed a mistake and you wanted to fix it up, you'd have to erase everything that you've done up to that point to fix it up. So with another layer, if I make a mistake and I haven't gone too far, I can just delete it and start over again. Just makes it a little more flexible. Again, it's not essential, but it's just a workflow choice.
John, how did you add the pixel layer?
So I use the shortcut down here next to the
Oh, next to the garbage can.
garbage
Okay.
can. This
Yeah.
is, you point at it for a minute and then it will say add pixel layer.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, ask away. And I like this, the lighter green a little better. So I'm going to copy that over. And again, you can click once and then click once. Go to the end, hold the shift key, and it should draw a straight line.
You do that with the clone as well?
Yep.
Oh,
So it works pretty well on any brush. So far, except the healing brush. I don't know why. But it works pretty well on any of the other brushes. And I want to, change the source of what I'm cloning from so that I don't get a whole lot of repetition, even in this out of focus background.
John,
Yeah.
what kind of brush are you using? Do you go into brushes and pick a brush out? Like a soft brush?
You know what, I probably did way back, and I've been using that brush for this kind of stuff ever since.
So you don't change your brushes?
Oh, depends on what I want. Does it show me which one I've chosen?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know if it does.
I usually
But
pick
I'm way up there.
128. I like 128.
Yeah, soft brush, but you're gonna make it whatever size works for you, depending on the image. So yeah, I can choose that soft brush. It's got hardness at 25. I've got hardness set to 0, just so that I don't get any edges. And there's 128 on this image, which is pretty small. So I'm just gonna make it bigger.
Okay.
Come on there. So yeah, whatever works, Linda, is.
Thanks.
So that layer, I'll call the top. And again, we can do these on another layer, so I can add another layer and call this one right.
Now, if you want to, you can do in painting on a pixel layer. It is
Yeah.
possible to do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can use the in painting brush to do this. Do this here, so we can try it out.
Because I find, as I've been doing this, labeling the pixel layer with what you've done on it is pretty handy. Otherwise, if you pile up a bunch of them, after a while, you lose track of what you've, like if you want to go in and edit them or change them.
You to find which tool you use to do it.
No, like what you actually did. So for example, if say you did an in painting as your first layer and you got rid of, branches and stuff, you might put their branches as
Yeah.
the layer.
Yeah, I've done that too. Labeled them branches or whatever it is on. Oh, there you go. See, you caught me again. See, I didn't choose current layer and below, and it didn't work correctly. And I want just a little bit bigger. It's not bad. It's still stuff to clean up, that it otherwise, and then, I mean, it's a pretty busy background, so it's sort of unavoidable. I'll try and clean them up as I go. And I want to clean that one up too. Yeah, so as long as it works, Gary, and it's a great tool to use. And sometimes I may go over it more than once, like this particular spot. But if it happens that I switch tools, I'm just, I guess, lazy a bit, and I'll just stay with that tool and see how it does. So this one's working really well. And believe me, I've done this file a number of times in the last 2 weeks. It's hard to get it the same twice. Okay, let's go that far and see how we're doing. So I'll stop sharing. And you can try those things out. And George,
Yes.
you remember what we were doing earlier?
Well, I forgot a lot over dinner, but I'll try.
or- And Alan, have you used Affinity much?
Yeah, I have, yeah. But there's a lot of things I've learned. I mean, for example, I see you keep your hardness a lot lower. I usually have mine a lot higher.
I just keep it lower so that I don't want to see hard edges of the
No,
brush.
that's right.
all.
No, it makes sense. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm learning a lot. And the how you actually expanded the canvas, I'll have to play around with that. I've got a moose open on this other screen, so I'm going to play around with that right now and see how it does.
Okay.
Alan, are you on version 2?
Right now I've got this one. I've got version 2 and version 1 on this computer. So
Okay.
I've got version 2 open right now
Okay.
because I was actually trying to reinstall some of my plugins on version 2 tonight before the meeting. And I'm using
Oh,
version.
there's one thing I haven't found that it has a lot of. I mean, I think and you know what? I still haven't gotten Topaz to work. So
Well, I've got Topaz working, and I use Gracie's, which is sort of this background that I have behind me is done by Gracie's. It's a free set of plugins.
Linda, you're sharing your screen? Linda? Uh-oh. Linda, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're sharing your screen?
Is it working?
I think so.
Oh, good. Okay, now how do I go back?
There's a red button at the top that says stop sharing.
No red button.
Well, drag your Finder window down. Maybe you've got it covered.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. You found it.
oh, it works.
You're scaring me, Linda. We tried this twice, and that's the first time it worked. So, Gary, how are you making out?
Good. Remind me again about how you were doing this draw the line, because I find if I just drag with my mouse, then I can kind of create a line. But you said there's another way of creating a line?
If you click at one end of the line,
Yeah.
and then hold the go to the other end of the line, hold the shift key and click again, it will draw a straight line between those 2 points.
I see. Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Yeah, something else I didn't realize.
Oh, you did that little trick with a brush?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works on regular brushes, clone brush, and painting brush. Say the only one I couldn't get it to work on was the healing brush.
It makes it a lot better because I mean, sometimes I use like a tablet, like a walking tablet.
Yep.
But with
Oh, yeah.
With a mouse, it's a little hard sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a tablet too that I've never ever gotten used to, but
I find the Wacom, I guess it's just the cheapest one they've got. It seems to have a fairly decent feeling surface, so almost like writing on paper. So it's a little better. I've tried other tablets and had no success.
well, I've got a real cheap one. Linda, is that you? Is there background noise there? You try and mute yourself for a moment.
Yeah, I'm looking for me. Wait a minute.
So the one thing I've noticed with the in painting brush, if you pick a really small brush and try to use it, sometimes it isn't very good. So you kind of have to pick the size of the brush based on the size of the object you're trying to do. And you kind of have to pick a brush, at least I found, a little bit larger than the object. Otherwise, it kind of does a poor job of getting rid of it.
Yeah, you'll go over it a few times if the brush doesn't cover.
Yeah.
what you're trying to paint. And even if it does, sometimes you'll go over it a few times.
Yeah, that brush, to click once and then click at the end makes a big difference. Certainly
It
speed-
can, if you're doing a lot of straight, like if you're taking out telephone wires, it can make it a little quicker. And yeah, I'm using a new mouse here and it's like, holy smokes, am I that shaky? Yeah, it seems like I am.
Yeah, well, I use a trackball, so
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
find it's a little better than a mouse for me. You're right.
I'm using a Wacom, and once I've gotten used to it, I don't think I could go back to a mouse.
No, I know, but it's true. People tell me once you get used to them, but yeah, and I've got a cheap rip-off brand of a Wacom, and like I say, there's nothing wrong with the tablet. It's the operator.
Well, I found it was the least expensive Wacom that seems to have the best surface. I got an expensive one, and I find the surface is not as easy to work with as the cheaper one.
Oh,
So
I had one of those, and my son found it, and I haven't seen it since.
well, my nephews, when they come over, they go through they go into the office downstairs and they go through the computer parts and take what they want, and things tend to disappear. Mice, tablets, monitors.
Yeah, and Leslie, how are you making out?
Yeah, I'm doing good, and I found my ants, and I found it was because I didn't press apply or enter before. That's why I couldn't get those, what I told you before I couldn't get. You know what I mean?
I've forgotten what that was.
When you expanded.
Oh, expand the canvas.
Yeah, and I couldn't
Oh,
get,
and you didn't have the marching ants. Oh, okay.
right, yeah. So now I've got to get rid of the mooses back.
Yeah, so
Remind me
everybody's
ag-
okay. So the 3 or 4 of you were okay expanding the canvas.
No, I'm not. I'm just starting now. So I actually reduced the image a little bit so I could expand it a little more.
Yeah, can you share your screen, Al?
Yep. Maybe not this one.
Yeah, I'm looking if you can remind us again, because I've expanded the canvas, but then I forget how we used with the marquee to create the area and then fill it in.
Okay, well, so if you've expanded the canvas, then it's select alpha range,
Okay, so
select from the menu at the top there.
Yep.
And you go down
alpha
to
range.
alpha range, and it's the one in the middle, semi-transparent,
Yep.
partially transparent or something.
Right. So you want partially transparent?
I believe so.
Isn't this area fully transparent because you just created it, or is,
Well, Gary,
no, I'm just wondering, that's the selection you would get, I guess.
I can only say which one works. So select alpha range, select partially transparent.
And now in mine, it took the whole image, like it's wrapped
Oh,
around the whole
really?
image. Yeah, including some stuff in the middle as well.
Okay, we don't want that. Can you share your screen, Gary?
Yeah, just 1 second. Let me, okay. Okay. Do you guys
Okay.
see that?
Mhm.
You see,
Yep, got everything. So let's go select.
this is version 2, select alpha range.
Oh, okay. Yep. Partially
A nice-
transparent. Yeah.
You see how it did all of
Oh
this?
my God.
So that's why
That's
was
not what we want.
yeah, so I was going to see if maybe I did select.
Oh, Gary.
Yep.
It's the layer you have selected.
Oh, that's
so-
why.
Yeah, let's select the background.
Okay. Can I just try something? No, it doesn't make a difference.
No, because you got lots of transparent stuff on that layer.
Okay.
So, and well, let's see what happens.
There we go.
Yeah, and then edit in page. Okay, so yeah, you can do that. Okay, so did you remove the branches on that other pixel layer?
Yeah, I started to remove some of it, but I wanted to catch up with trying this. So yeah,
Oh,
I had,
okay.
so I had on the pixel layer, and you can see over here, I did a little bit and did some of the stuff over here. I don't think I did a good job here, but took this
Okay.
out.
Okay, that's fine. And then Command D to get rid of the marching ants. Or Control, yeah, Control or
Control D.
Command D.
Yeah,
Control D,
Control D
yeah,
on Windows.
on Windows, yeah.
Okay, so just to reiterate, that was select. So initially it was the command was select alpha range, select partially transparent.
Yeah.
And then edit.
In Paint. And it's great out there.
Yeah, because I guess I already did it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Somebody else wants to share them. I can stop sharing. Okay, that was good. That was helpful. Thanks.
Yeah. I'll just share my screen and show it. George, you got yours okay?
I think I'm getting it, yes.
Okay, so for George is using Elements. But in the room with us, he's gonna spend the $80 tomorrow to buy this app or whatever, or whatever it costs. But another way, let's see, I'll just, can I show it here or not? Yeah, I think I can. So if I expand the canvas again, and for whatever reason, Gary, if the that sort of selection didn't work, you can use the rectangle marquee tool to make a selection.
Okay.
That you can now do the same thing, edit in Paint.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. Okay.
Okay, it's another way to skin the cat sort of thing.
Shift key. Go to here.
Alan, can you show us how you're doing?
Yeah, okay, let me slide this one over here.
Linda, are you done there? Oh,
Yeah,
you're muted. I can't hear you, Linda.
sure.
No, I haven't finished yet. I keep
Okay.
jumping back and forth here. I'll finish it.
Oh, that's why.
That's where I am right now. I'm still playing around with this selection. Because I'm just trying a couple of other things. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And I've cleaned up most of the sticks. I'm just still playing around with this selection. You said there's another way of doing it using the marquee tool. I'm just looking here.
Well, you have to crop it first. So you have to increase, move it up,
Right, I've done
10,
that.
50. Okay.
See, I don't get any transparent background.
Well, you won't until you apply the crop.
Oh yeah, okay, that's neat. That was the problem. And then let's go down to alpha, okay. And you said partially transparent?
Yep. And there you've got it. And
down to
edit.
the Paint.
Go edit in Paint.
Well, edit in Paint. Or alt backspace, okay. All right, okay,
Oh, you're onto the keyboard shortcuts too?
yeah.
Good.
I tend to use that.
I
So
like
that-
keyboard.
So that works well, and then I would have to go in and.
Yeah, you got to go in. Yeah, so Command D to get rid of the marching ants. Command
Yeah,
or
just
select,
Control D.
deselect.
Yeah.
Control D, sorry.
Yeah. That's okay, don't mind me, I grew up with DOS and shortcut keys, but, yeah, okay, all right. So that was my issue now, and all I have to do now is find. Okay, now I found it. So with two screens, it falls behind the Zoom meeting, so I moved it over to the other screen so I can work on it with the clone now. The clone
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I learned the little bits that I know with DOS and on a keyboard. And that was mostly by looking over other people's shoulders. And man, these guys could type fast enough to lock the screen up, making changes in DOS. And yeah, everything done on the keyboard, because they, I guess when they started, there were no mice, no,
No, there was no, I started working with CPM, with the digital solutions and CPM. And there was no mice, no. No. All right, okay, and that's working well with the clone. So that was the issue, not after cropping it, not hitting them to select the crop. That was the issue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
yeah. So Linda, you're okay? You're muted again. You're muted, Linda.
I'm just gonna say one thing, John.
No, I'm the one with the background noise, so, yeah,
It's okay. The background noise seems to be gone, I think, so.
oh,
You might
Well, I don't
Um,
hear it anymore, so.
you might
yeah,
hear
I did it maybe a little bit different than you did, but I did it.
Okay, so you expanded the canvas.
Yeah, it looks okay. Why did you want to see it?
But as long as you can find that stop sharing button.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, it's looking good then.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
John,
Yes, George.
I've reached the point, I've got the space above the photo to fill. I've
Yeah.
resized it, in other words.
Yep.
I'm trying to find the command now to fill that.
So it was, it's up on the toolbar, select, isn't it? Isn't it under the select menu?
Fill it was added in Paint, right? Was,
Yeah, that's for it. George is working with elements, Photoshop elements.
oh, okay.
Okay. So I've got the regular rectangular marquee tool.
Oh, okay. And you selected the area to fill?
Okay, that's what's missing.
No, you know what? We selected it in a menu. Or filled it in a menu, I think.
Okay, so
I don't think we had to select it.
fill selection.
Yeah, fill selection.
Use content aware.
Yeah.
Normal 100%. It's taking its time, but yes, we got it.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and are you you're able to use the clone tool and remove branches, George?
Yes, I've got that all done.
Good. Okay.
So I'm just going to clean up above the back of the moose now.
Okay. So I'll go on and carry on with
I'm actually shocked at how well, if you play around with that clone stamp tool, how you can you look there and I'm just so surprised that I'm able to create that.
how
was
well
out
it
there.
does.
Yeah.
It does do a good job.
Yeah.
So done the right side. I'll add one more pixel layer and call it branches. And do a little more cloning. All right, you know what? I'll try with the in painting, perhaps. Current layer and below, that seems to be okay. That's not too bad. That's actually probably a better job than I do by hand. Now, I find too with this, as long as you don't give it too much to do at once, it can figure it out. So now when I get to something like this, I don't know how, Leslie, you did a great job on this yesterday or something, because the file you sent me looked really good.
Good.
But where a branch emerges with, in this case, the moose, I want to copy both halves of that together to remove this stub that's sticking out of the moose. So I'm going to use the clone tool. And I'm going to select an area. We need that brush a little bit big. That should probably be okay. So I want some fur of the moose and some water. So about there, Alt click. And I want to bring that down to here. Now, let's see how that does. And that's looking not bad. I got a little bit of a line there. I don't know why. Again, it's probably because I didn't cover it completely the first time. And I have this line down beside the branch, so I'm going to try and get rid of some of that. And this won't be quite big enough, but let's see what it does. Not too bad. And so from this side, we'll do the same thing, but I'm just going to sort of cut this branch.
Mhm.
And fill this with
Oh, okay.
green. And I don't know what these little things are in the water, but if you copy them, it looks like a repeating pattern. So if you find them, we'll have to get rid of them. And I just use Command plus to zoom in and Command 0 to put it back to full screen. And again, I'll pick a spot at the top. Move over to the branch, make the brush big enough to cover it. Once at the top, and I'm going to try it once down at the water line. See how it does copying that over. Not too bad. But again, because of this, the branches in here, it's, kind of an obvious clone. So we'll select another spot and get rid of some of those. And I want to copy more of that green.
Mhm.
Well, that water looks messy, but all right, we'll go on a little bit and try and finish off this bottom part of the branch. And that's why. Uh, let's go over here. So ripples in the water, that's tough to keep them straight. That looks not bad. And I'm just going over this again, trying to clean it up. It's got, well, then no wonder I'm copying over that same spot again. I'm still not real happy with this water, but I'll move on to something I think I can do, which is the top of this stump. So the top part's not too difficult because we can just copy the fur from the moose and fill it in. And the bottom part, you can fill in with some water. Leslie, you did a great job on this last night, of that file you sent to me.
Thank you.
So again, when I get to this part, I think it's best to select something that has both the green and the dark color of his fur. So I'll alt click there and see how it lines up over here. Now, if you find it doesn't line up correctly, you can rotate the brush with the arrow keys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Neither did I until I found out. And it was just watching somebody's video that said, "Oh, really?" That's not
Wow.
too bad. Now, the problem is you got to remember to rotate it back again straight. And that's how I made this mess, because I don't think I did. And so best thing to do, I think, is just select another tool and then go back to the clone tool, and perhaps it will straighten itself out.
So, sorry, which one did you rotate? Like you were using the clone tool and you,
Yes.
with
Yeah.
the arrow keys, you rotated it?
Yes.
Oh,
And that'll work on most of the brushes. I think probably the in painting brush as well.
oh. Okay.
I want to fix this up somehow. I have copy over part of a lily pad.
Yeah, that's why I like with the there's a separate layer, because sometimes you do it and then you get to the point where it's you can just show that layer alone, erase what you've done if you're not happy, and then start again.
Yep. Yeah. Because I'm really not happy, but I'm not sure how to fix it yet. So I'm going to move on. I got other stuff to fix, so I'm going to move on to that and come back to it. Like this branch over here, for example. So. Yeah, I've done better versions of it there. So this one again, it's we can copy, like get started by getting rid of the part that merges with the moose. I wonder if I can get something that's, well, maybe this part of the water will work. Not too bad. So again, multiple sources sometimes to make sure you're not copying over any, distinguishable patterns. Let's try this one. Although maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll just. I'll just fill in this little spot up here in the water and then copy that over.
I find sometimes when I hit, I'm using the clone tool and I hit, I hold down the Alt and I left click, it doesn't seem to pick up the color and doesn't seem to move it.
It's a little fussy sometimes. You got to sort of make sure you have the crosshairs there, otherwise it doesn't really pick it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found that too. So it's not, it's
Well, it does a good job. It's just, you just kind of wonder if you're missing something. That's
yeah.
So let me give you a tip that took me a little bit of time to figure out. Is up on the top, and you're using the clone stamp tool, there's an option called aligned.
Yep.
If you deselect that,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is that your source point doesn't move. So when it's like you can repetitively paint over using it. So you'll see it's great if you want to, there's something you want to copy, you could clone, and then you want to do multiple instances. It took me a while to figure that out because the command, that option aligned isn't sort of intuitive.
Yeah.
where do you find that?
It's
Up in the top.
In the context toolbar up here.
Yep.
So next to normal, there's a little checkbox
yeah.
here for aligned.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, mine's checked, so I don't need a line check and see how that works. Okay.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you very much. See if that makes a difference. It seems a little better. Yeah, that seems a little better. Yeah, that seems to help.
Remember that every time you pick up your mouse or not drag anymore, then it goes back to the original point.
Right.
Yep.
But if you're just dragging, it's dragging continuously from that point.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems to work better. Mhm. Okay. I think I have most of the sticks out. Yeah.
Making it worse.
And the water is a,
That undo key gets used a lot.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a fussy fix, eh, Alan?
it is, yes.
You know what I've done too with this, on one or two of these copies, I just put on a Gaussian blur layer and blurred this stuff that's a little bit sharper than this stuff to make it kind of blend in.
Mhm.
Or like Gary said, just delete that layer, go back and do it over.
Well, what's nice too is you can go to that layer and then use the erase brush and then kind of erase some of the selected areas that are,
Yes, yeah, that too. Yeah, you can
that are
just
not
erase them.
happy.
Yep.
It's not bad. I mean, what I have is not bad. I mean, I would like to work on the top of the grass a little more on the right-hand side. And the ripples are a bit of a problem, but the sticks are all gone. So,
Yeah, another thing that works or has an effect is the healing brush, which works similar to the clone brush, but it tries to, according to the help file anyway, it tries to blend the pixels that you've chosen with the Alt key with the pixels that are already existing where you brush. So if I Alt click here and try and soften down some of this texture that's there. Oops, current layer and below.
you can see how it works. I mean, I'm kind of making a bigger mess, but
Well, that can happen too, but
oh yeah,
that's,
no, but at least I see how it works. So it looks more of a shadow underneath the neck right now. So I've moved the ripples up a bit, but
yeah, that's what the undo key is for.
you know,
So how is the healing different than the in paint? Like
Uh,
I've heard about using healing for skin, like on
Yes,
portraits.
it's pretty much designed for skin, I believe. But how is it different than in paint? So I think in paint is pretty much the same as clone, except the app is choosing which pixels to use to replace what you're painting. So clone, you're choosing where to replace from, and in painting, the app is choosing what pixels it's using to replace what you're painting. The healing brush, like I say, tries to blend these pixels that I've chosen with these pixels that I paint on. So when it's a uniform color, it works pretty well. But to go from, but again, I think that's sort of the key, in that the color has to be somewhat uniform for it to figure out how to do it. And you're right, Gary, in that I would think of it as a skin retouching tool, not a replacement for a clone brush. But Sam pointed out he uses the two in conjunction sometimes. He'll clone it and then use the healing brush over it. Or it could have been Linda. Linda's used it too. So.
Can we take a short 3-minute break?
I think it would be a good time for that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
So will I. Let's, 5 minutes anyway, it'll take me.
$8:10.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Mhm. Hmm. Mhm. Got about an hour to go. Yeah, they were very good. I mean, I think this is going to be their new main program, the photo AI, because it combines sort of the sharpening and the noise reduction and the I guess the gigapixel features in one app now. So I know I like their studio for some of their kind of their creative effects, but they're not going to, I think, do anything more with studio. I think it's finished. So, but I've noticed the new version of Photo AI, it allows you to crop now. We brought it up. It's a beta version, but it allows you to crop the file before you actually export it, which is quite nice. And you can actually select the subject now better. Because I actually did some, I was part of their beta program on before they introduced it out into the, sort of into the sort of as a paid product. Well, I'm glad you find it helpful. It's I think the moose is looking a lot better. I'll just mention to people that you're probably going to hear an alarm going off at 10 to 9, not to panic. That's just my phone telling me that I have to manage the breakout rooms, so. John, I was just saying that I have an alarm set for 10 to 9, so I know when to sort of, manage the breakout rooms. So that'll go off. I think my moose is looking a lot better. I got most of the sticks out and got rid of the lilies.
Yours looks great. Under the moose looks great.
Got the moose sort of. Go find them now. Yes.
You were, let me just, I don't know if I can do this or not, but I'll try. I think I can, so I can go back and erase, as Gary was saying. Just want to erase a little bit of this branch that I took out here. And show you a different way to replace that. Just in case sometime you ever
After all that work, you're undoing it?
need this little technique, Leslie.
God.
I know, brutal, eh? So there it is, still there. I want to replace it. It's on its own layer. So how would I do this? I would, okay, well, I'll select over here again. And that's about the size of it. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. So I've got, again, the fur and the green water. Oh, I want to go, I don't want to be on that tool. I want to be on the clone stamp tool. That's about, maybe I'll make this brush a little harder even. Let's try that. Yeah, let's say that's it. So I'll alt click there. And I want to put it over top of this piece here. Something like that. But of course, it's not aligned correctly. However, we can take this layer with the move tool and rotate it around until it's
Oh,
cool.
where we want it to be.
yeah.
And then go back to the clone tool and just tidy up that green part that didn't turn out as well.
So you can do that with everything that you clone stamp down. You can take and select it separately and.
Sure, if you want, do it on a separate layer and well, Okay, we'll get through this one and then I'll show you one that well, anyway, we'll get to it. So. Command 0 to make it fit the screen again.
What
Okay,
did you
so
do
once-
to make it fit the screen?
Command 0,
Control 0.
Control 0, controller command 0. So controller command,
Yeah, I know,
one.
I know. I just got to write it down right.
yeah, so 1 is 100%. And 0 makes it fit the screen.
Okay. Control 0. Oh,
Yeah. So once we're done with all of these layers and all of this cloning, I would select them all and merge visible will give us a new layer at the top that is all of those layers combined.
Okay.
So these layers, I can turn them all off and it won't make any difference because this new merged layer is above them. So that's the layer we're seeing and that's the layer we would be working on.
okay. Sorry. How did you get down to that merge?
Just right clicked. Or you can select them all and go layer.
And you selected the background as well.
Yes, I selected everything. So I selected the background and all of those pixel layers and selected merge visible.
Oh, you went over to the layer. Okay.
Well, that's one place you can do it.
I
because
find that easier.
There's always multiple places you can do things here.
Yeah.
But you could, let me see if I select these two and right click, merge selected, merge visible, group, rasterize and trim, et cetera, are all there. So you're furiously making notes, Leslie?
I am.
Good. That's great.
Otherwise, tomorrow I won't remember nothing.
Okay, so a couple more things we need here. The moose is a little bit dark.
So John, just to confirm about this merge select visible, it's created a new layer, but it consists of the underlying layer. So if I make a change to the underlying layer, that merged select layer or that merged layer will also be updated as well.
No.
It's like
So
a copy. It's like
it's you've taken all the layers, more or less flattened them all together and created a new layer. And so it's above all of the layers that you worked on.
So that means once you've done merge visible, you're done.
Well,
Like
you're
you
only
can't
you're only
back.
working from here up. Yes. So any changes you make below this won't show up.
Okay.
So again, but it's all, cloning and in painting. If I wanted to do more, I would just do it on this layer.
Yeah.
Okay, just yeah, these layers I don't need anymore. So that's why I've done this one, and we'll call it merged.
So I go merge visible.
Okay, so one of the things two things we want to do. We want to brighten him a little bit. He's kind of dark, and I want to sharpen it. So I'm just going to go with something simple. There's all kinds of ways to brighten them. It could be exposure, brightness and contrast will work just fine. You could do lots of Photoshop people and other people like to use a curves layer to do this kind of thing. But again, I'm coming from Lightroom to do this stuff, and I would pretty much just use something with a slider. So I'm only watching the moose here, not the background, because I only want to apply this adjustment to the moose. So that's one of the adjustments, and the other one I'll apply is an unsharp mask. And we'll just stick it in there for now. And not do anything with it yet, but these two layers, I'll select them both and make a group. So that's Controller Command G, or oops. Yeah, well, the other one that's there is it's under, anyway, it's under the right click menu. Can I delete just that?
Alan, do you see the
Oh, no, it
unsharp
deleted.
mask?
Deleted the two of them, sorry.
I do, let me just see here. Layers.
So, oh, sorry, just a minute, Gary, I'll show you where that is.
No. Oh, because I'm looking and it's not under the normal layers adjustment.
No.
Filters.
So this circle next to the Japanese flag is adjustment layers.
Yeah.
So levels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. FX is layer effects, and this hourglass is filters. So these are all the filters that are up at the top there under the filters menu. And
Okay.
unsharp mask is one of those.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so they're also up here. Where are they? I never.
Under sharpen.
Yeah, but I don't want
Yeah.
those ones. I want the live filters. Where are live filters? I'll have to look for that. So these are live filters that are down here underneath the hourglass, and live filters are ones that are non-destructive in that you can apply the live filter and you can go back and change it at any time.
Oh.
So filters back in when I had Photoshop were sort of destructive in that you would apply an unsharp mask, and once you've decided on what you were going to apply, that was it. You were stuck with that. The only thing you could do would be to adjust the opacity of the layer to change the strength of what you've applied. See, that's the brightness adjustment. So by adjusting the layer opacity, you can change the amount of brightness. But anyway, I put these two together. No, I don't want that. And I grouped them, which was Command G or right click and group. And we'll call that sharp and brighten. So these two are just going to be applied to the moose. So so in this group, we'll add a mask. And we'll paint on that mask to apply this adjustment just to the moose. So it's whether you paint to apply just to the moose or paint to remove the adjustment from the rest of the image is just a choice between which one is larger, which one's easier to paint. So it's a 50-50 shot. I don't think it really matters here. So I'll invert this mask, which is Command I to invert, and that will hide the adjustments that the mask is above, which is the brightness and contrast and the unsharp mask. And then use a brush to paint that adjustment on where I want it to show. So the mask is black So to make the adjustment show, the brush has to be white. So the brush colors are here, black is selected, so I just click on the white and the white will be selected. Got to select the mask to paint on it. Got the wrong tool. There's the right tool. So to do the edges of the moose, I want a pretty hard brush. Doesn't have to be 100%, but something close to it. You know, or whatever works for you. So, and I'm just gonna, I know I want this brightness added at 100% on this darkest part of the moose. Make the brush a little smaller just to get his fur. Okay, try and get it down here on his neck. So again, this is all the darkest parts of the moose. And boy, I can see I'm being real sloppy there. So where you're sloppy, just we'll switch to black and paint those parts out. So that is X, which is between those two colors, black and white. And we'll just go around this edge and try and clean that up. So that's the darkest part of the moose. I also want to apply this brightness adjustment to the rest of the moose, but not at the same strength. So I'll lower the flow down of the brush into maybe 35%. We'll see how that does. And paint it on his face. And again, I'm trying to be careful. I'm not really being very careful going around the edges, and especially on these horns. These are, you know, a little bit tedious. I'm kind of jealous of those Photoshop people that have this select subject option now. And it works very well. It will just pick this moose out of the background. I was hoping Affinity would add that to their update that came out back in November, but I haven't seen it yet. However, let's hope.
I don't think they will, John. I think Affinity is trying to stay away from the AI. They seem to be,
Well, I don't know why that is.
you know, they just,
See, that's where it's nice too to have that that big market, because that TK panel did it before before Photoshop introduced it.
did they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's so. And I also want to he does have a bit of a catchlight in his eye, so that can stand to be done at 100%, I think. So just make the brush about the size of his eye. And just brush that brightness adjustment on there. trying to make it work there. So back to Command 0. So to see what we've done with the mask, you can hold the Alt key and click on the mask and it will show you the mask. Now it's showing me the mask, but it's really only showing me the part that I did at 100%, not the part at 35. That's just, I don't know why that is. That's just the way it works. The other thing you can do when you want to look at a mask is, again, right click on the mask and say refine mask. And again, it's showing me all the part I did at 100%, but not the part that was done at 35%. I don't know what to say about that. It's just the way the app works. If I paint
John,
in these, sure.
Can I ask a dumb question? How do I change this is the one thing I don't like about Affinity. Those icons are not that intuitive. How do I select it so I'm just getting the brush? Because I'm getting everything but just
Okay.
a brush.
I'll get to that in 1 second.
Right, okay.
So this I painted on here because I want to add it to the mask, but it's not picking it up for whatever reason. But I know that I want that to be what this mask thinks is the foreground. So I'll just select foreground over here and paint it in. And it'll do it. Now, in this window, I don't have any ability to choose how heavily I paint on the moose to add that brightness adjustment. So it's, if I was making a selection or something, then this window would work fine. But in this case, it's not applying, it's not doing what we want it to do. However, we'll go with it for now. So where have I not done? Up here. So the what you're asking about, Gary? Yeah, when tools are buried underneath other tools, it will cycle through the tools as you hit that keyboard shortcut. Oh, I'm back up at 100%. Does that make sense, Gary?
So can you show me? So I want to.
Yeah, so I'm on the brush now. If I hit the letter B again, oh, it deselects it. Why is that? No, it's only selecting that one. Well, you know what? I'll have to read about that. I thought that's the way it worked in the last version. So it would cycle through these tools each time I pushed the keyboard shortcut.
I just pressed B and that I was working on the mask and that did get me back. I don't know what I was in before. When I press B again, it ends me up in something else.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know, unless there's something else selected. So we sort of have a mask on the moose, so let's see what we can do with the unsharp mask. Now I just put these in a group and added that mask so that I could adjust these two, or mask these two adjustments together. Otherwise, I could just paint on them on these adjustments individually. So add the moose and paint on the unsharp mask. Add the brightness and contrast adjustment and paint on that layer to just reveal the moose. So another thing I like to try sometimes is to duplicate the sharpening. And that's Command J to duplicate that layer. And then set it for a different radius, perhaps a different factor. I'm exaggerating this a little bit so you can see them. The other thing I would do here, because I shouldn't actually, you know what, I'm gonna delete that layer, go back to this one. So I painted this on at 35%, but I want 100% of the sharpening going on the moose. So can I wonder if I can paint right on that mask now and show everything. Pardon me, right on that adjustment. Oh. No, it's not really doing what I want. Okay, that needs more research. Let me,
What's the difference between what you're doing there, making it lighter and making it darker or whatever, compared to the dodge and burn tool on the toolbar on
same,
the side?
just another way to do the same thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know what? I'm going to move this out. And just, so I'll invert it and then just reveal it on the moose here. Just a quick and dirty version of adding sharpness.
And you're just going with the default setting in on sharp mask?
No, it's.
Oh, I see, okay.
I'll just open it up again there and show you. It's not a default setting. So I want to get his horns without getting too much of the background.
So and that was one of the things I found with Topaz AI, because I can do sharpening there, clean it up, but then I save it in a DNG and bring it in, so it's already sharp.
Yeah. Or Sam was telling me he'll sharpen in Topaz, bring it in and mask it when he gets to Photoshop or Affinity. Instead of, I found the masking really slow in Topaz.
But once it's sharpened, what are you masking? I'm confused.
So here I'm applying the sharpening to the moose and not the background.
Right.
Okay.
I think George has his hand up. I'm not sure.
Just speak up, George, or anyone else, because I can't see you.
So you said when sorry, who is it? Sam. So when Sam brings it in, he masks.
Instead of trying to mask in Topaz,
yeah,
you'll just bring it in with the whole layer sharpened and then mask it in Photoshop.
But when you mask it in Photoshop, what is he doing then at that point? He's blocking the section, or?
Yes, so I don't want to sharpen the grass or the water, so he's blocking that stuff out.
Because the way we would bring it in, everything would be done universally. I can't control. That's what I'm getting at. I don't have access at the layer level to do that.
Okay, you can mask in Topaz AI.
Topaz 4 AI, yes, you can mask.
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Okay, well, maybe I have to look into them. Okay.
You can, and it will.
Okay.
Well,
it will even, even as an AI app, it will try and.
Yeah, it does subject detection.
Yeah, detect the subject.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so that's the part I was missing. There was a mask in Photo AI and Topaz.
There is. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But for me, when I tried it, going, man, this thing is just brutally slow. I don't know what's going on. My power's flicking on and off for some reason. Did I knock the power supply out or something? Did we forget to pay the hydro bill?
You find in Topaz Photo AI, the subject detection, now you can refine it much better. And you
Yeah,
can
oh,
also, and you can
Okay,
also.
we're gonna run out of time here real
That's what I
quickly.
was
So
gonna
let
say, we've
me,
got about another 10 minutes.
yeah, not even. We'll have to go. They're all gonna start coming back.
Yeah.
So, something else I might do. Here, the moose looks great. I'd like, okay.
They won't be back.
One of
until
the things I don't
9,
like
John.
is the greens are too strong. So I'll go to the HSL, and I don't know if it's just because we're human and they're easier to see or something, but I've selected the green in the HSL layer, and then I've chosen the picker just to refine it a bit.
Mhm.
Goes into the red, the pinkish reds a little bit here. I don't know why. Perhaps they are in the grass there, but I'm gonna bring it down to just the yellows and the greens. Can I move this whole thing over? Yeah, I can. So, and just when I'm doing this sort of thing, I'll pull it down, 20% or 30%, and then just leave it and look at it. See, do I like that? Go back and adjust it if I don't. So before and after.
I moved my layer underneath the merge, and I wasn't seeing any change. So now I know why.
Yeah, you put it underneath the merge one, you won't see any change. The other thing I'd like to see too is just, I don't know if it's just the HSL or whatever, but I'd like a little bit more contrast overall. So I'll add a brightness and contrast layer above it and just turn it up a little bit. No, that's okay, but I don't need more contrast, on the dark water or on his legs kind of thing. So you could brush it, but another way to adjust it is to go to the blending options. This is the source layer. So this is the brightness and contrast layer we're working on. And it's this line across the top represents the luminance, I guess. So the darks are on the left, the brightest parts are on the right-hand side. So we'll just pull this down so that it's not affecting the darkest parts of the image. And you can add another point and move it up a little bit so it does affect the midtones, but not too much on the dark side of the image.
Mhm.
So just another way to make an adjustment. And yeah, I can see the difference. I don't know how well you're seeing it on Zoom.
No, I can see it. It's a lot nicer, a lot better, much better. The details there now.
Yeah, and so then finally, no, it's not in that one, it's in the other one.
Yeah, much better.
What did Ansel Adams say? Every photo needs a vignette. And so this is just the basic one that's in Affinity Photo. It's sort of like the one in Lightroom. It's not hugely refined. You can't move the center point. You can make your own. And I don't know if you can see the scale turning. That's making it more
Mhm.
into the center. I just want to color, darken the corners very slightly. And that'll do.
Mhm.
So I don't know if, you know what, I get through all of that and I didn't give you time to try any of it.
Well, the breakout rooms won't end until 9 o'clock, so,
Oh, you left them till 9?
yeah.
Okay, well, let me
About
stop
9.
sharing and give you a chance to try some of those things.
Yep.
So we finished up finished up the cleanup and then merged those layers together to create one layer. And then from that layer, we did a little bit of brightness, sharpening, and an HSL adjustment to soften down the greens. And then a contrast adjustment on the overall image.
So once we merged, we can now work on that.
Merged image, yes. So you can add a brightness and contrast.
But what
Adjust-
happens, for instance, if I decide, oh, I want to get rid of that little thing, I need the clone stamp. Can I use it or no, that's
Oh, yeah,
done?
you can use it. No, you can use it. It's just you're going to be working on that merged layer now and not the ones below it.
Yeah, well, because I don't see it working.
You're right on the merged layer, so you don't have to select current layer and below.
It says merged.
Okay, and you've got
Got a checkbox in it.
and you have the
Uh,
clone stamp.
Yeah.
Okay, and you alt click to
Oh,
select some.
there, it's okay, done. Sorry. Thank you.
It's okay.
I tried
Linda,
that like
how are you
4
doing?
times.
Yeah, no, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, thank you, John.
You're okay with everything?
Yeah, thank you.
I know you know it reasonably well.
I'm learning some, well, with that edit, then you go down to the in painting, my in painting brush didn't show up, so maybe it's another preference.
No, it should be there underneath another brush.
It's there,
perhaps.
it's there, but it's not lit up. I use the one on the side anyway. Not on the edit.
Oh, you mean under the edit menu, it wasn't
Yeah.
lit up.
Yeah,
Probably because something wasn't selected. So you need to select something for it to in paint.
oh, okay.
So that's what we did. We did select alpha range and partially transparent or whatever.
Okay.
Got the marching ants, edit
Mhm.
in paint.
Mhm. And with the gear, the way to remember the shadows and the highlights is shh.
Okay. S before H. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, SH. Shh.
Yeah.
Shadows, highlights.
Okay. Left to right. Yeah. Yeah. George, how you doing?
Don, I'm trying to figure out in my menu what I could use to kind of sharpen the body of the animal.
So I'm sure Elements has sharpening. I'm gonna have to look into it on how to add those layers.
Okay, but is there a tool that I can
There must be.
in the enhance? Okay,
This has been very helpful, John.
Yeah, I agree.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm sure we're planning to do a couple more before the end of the year, or at least one more. I'm not sure what the subject matter will be, but there'll be an email. Anything you'd like to know? Anything you'd like to work on? And if you don't have an answer right now, that's fine. But if you think of something, send me an email or send it to the club.
I mean, people might be interested in layers, and I'm just starting to play with layers myself and composites. So
Composites is a big subject, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is apparently what Sharon Tannenbaum does with her weekly or bi-weekly meetup. She asks for suggestions on what to do for the next meeting, and she gets 100 people, 200 people, I think sometimes.
So where's
So
this?
they'll all come up with suggestions, and she picks ones that she can do and that she has probably already has instructional videos on them and goes with that.
So what group is this?
Karen Tannenbaum, she spoke at the club, I think last year or maybe
I
the year
think so, yeah,
before
I think
last.
so. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So she does a free meetup once a week, I think,
I didn't
or
know that.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'll find it. I think, Doris and Teresa, maybe Christine, I don't know. Doris, Teresa, Judy Preston for sure goes. And some others from the club.
No, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you're ready for to hold the next one, give me a shout and I'll set up a meeting for you. That's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Yep, we'll do all of that.
Just remind me.
Gary, you're good with everything?
Yeah, I meant I've learned a lot. I also now know more about what I don't know, so I have future ground to cover myself.
Good. So let me just share this once more. Screen. And Linda, I got your background again.
Oops.
Thanks. One thing I plan to ask when we get back together in the room is, if you were going to submit this image for competition, is there anything else you would change, you would do to it? Anyone?
I would get rid of the part of the moose beneath the eye. I can't tell if that's part of the animal or or a stick. But in any event, it's a distraction.
Beneath his eye? You mean right down the bottom?
Yeah.
That's his beard.
All right. I don't know moose that well, so.
This down here is his beard.
Okay.
Well, I actually removed the other two sticks in the water.
Yeah, I left them just, I don't know, just because they line up with the slope of
Mhm.
his neck and everything. I don't know. I didn't mind them, and I had enough work to do. So,
And I took out the white flowers too, just to try to,
okay, all of them?
I took out all of them, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Mhm.
think you're on the right track. So I would remove some of them. And one of the things you want to watch for is distractions around the edges of an image. So
Mhm.
I would remove the white flowers that are right on the edge, as well as this little white spot
Yeah,
down
I took
here.
that out too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
And
did
there's
that.
one underneath the moose over here, right on the right side, on the left side rather. But these other little buds, I don't know, I kind of like them, I'd leave them, but it's just just personal choice.
Mhm. I also took there's one underneath the moose I took out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want me to get the breakout rooms, I can send a message out.
Oh, yeah, you can, well, they know they're gonna close. Yeah, I'd send them out a message. They're gonna close in 2 minutes or whatever, whatever.
Well, no, it's 10 minutes before they close. If you want me to see if they're ready to come back.
Yeah, I've got 2 minutes to 9.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if they get warned automatically, but I would definitely let them know they're gonna
Yeah.
close in 1 minute or something.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry, Jim. Spell.
Perfect.
Because there's still about 8 minutes on the clock, so when I see 7 minutes, I'll just hit the close button.
Oh, okay.
That brings everybody back.
Yeah, I got 8:59.
So a question I have is one of the stuff that I'm following along. I told you I've got a course I'm following on. They keep applying levels layered levels. So they do one level to adjust it and do the contrast. And then they say, okay, we would like some more. So they put another level on top of that, like another levels adjustment. And then they do like a third one even. And they're not like they're masking it out. It's like they're
Stacking
enhancing.
them.
Yeah, and I'm going, how is like, I'm just confused as the characteristic of 3 stacked.
Yeah, I
levels
don't know,
adjusted.
unless they're doing them by channel, RGB channel.
No, they're not.
Okay, okay.
It just seems to me why you would do that versus just
Yeah,
doing
why-
the first one to the level, to the degree you want.
Yeah, so even like if you maximize the histogram, so move it in so the whites are really white and the blacks and the blacks are really black. I don't know if stacking them would like double that adjustment. I'm not sure that yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to see what it is they're doing, and I have to try that. Perhaps it does. Because with lots of other adjustments, like sharpening for sure, if you duplicate the layer, you get twice as much. Or the brightness and contrast, if you duplicate the layer, you're going to get twice as much. Exposure, any of those things. Oh, I should show you before you go. Oh, they're all coming back.
Okay, we're
Hey,
back.
everyone, they all here?
Yeah, we didn't quite finish, but
Yeah, I rushed through it a little bit and I didn't give them much time to
yeah.
to do the final adjustments, but
Sam, did you get your people working individually on Photoshop? I mean, on their computers? Because in my group, people told me that they cannot switch to Photoshop without losing the zoom.
No, we didn't have any of that problem. Everyone stayed in Zoom and they were working on their Photoshop. So I have no idea, Alex, what.
Yes, so I don't know how you did. I suggest people to minimize zoom, open this screen with Photoshop and do the image editing in the screen with the Photoshop.
If you have an Apple, you just whip back and forth between your screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people in my group, they were Windows based.
Okay.
I don't know. It
but
was,
yeah,
we didn't have any trouble.
yeah, I didn't have any trouble. I mean, even Windows based, it should be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, probably we can talk if you need probably people to go.
Something we'll have to sort out for next time. Carm, did you have any trouble doing that? You're muted, by the way.
Carm,
Still can't
Carm,
hear
you're
you.
muted. Because Carm's on Windows for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Carm, you're muted. You can see your lips moving, but there's no sound coming.
Oh, you didn't read what I was saying, eh? You're lucky. I had trouble throughout from start to finish.
Carm was.
So I'm waiting for the movie, the video to come out. And take my time because
So-
I didn't know why I had 2 images.
Yeah. So
Oh,
he must have opened the same
Anyway.
file twice, I think, but
Okay.
it's hard to
No,
say.
one was Sam's and one was mine. But I didn't know which one I could or should
Zoom.
be on.
One is Zoom, which is me, and the other one is
Yep.
Photoshop, which is you. So anyway, did anyone find, was this helpful? I guess is really.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Very much so.
Very helpful, but it's not intuitive.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's
if-
Not like
practice,
Lightroom.
practice.
If I have one comment is we covered so many things. I think that it would be better if that was everything that we did tonight was broken up maybe in 4 sessions, maybe even 5. Because when you start to say you do this, you do that, you do that, you do that, you do that, and you get that, then
Yeah.
it's
I know,
way
it's a
too
lot.
fast. Yeah,
It's a lot,
way
Hugh.
too.
It is
It's
a
a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
And I think
I've
we're all
never
very much
used Photoshop.
beginners.
I've never used Photoshop for any of this.
Okay.
Really?
Wow.
Me neither,
Other
so that's
than-
brand new.
I think of you as the content aware man, Carm.
Yeah.
The content aware, which is Shift Control F5 or something, and that's it.
That's it.
Okay. So
That's
Yep.
more than some of us.
well,
Yes,
I'm
me too,
hoping,
so-
I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that the video recording does work out. I would suggest you watch it again and go through it. I
Oh,
mean, that's the way I
Numerous
look at it.
times.
Practice, practice, practice.
And we'll
Exactly.
do it
Really
again.
does.
And Hugh, if you want, or Leanne or anyone else, if there's something, you would like specific help with, let us know and we'll be sure and include it for next time.
So Sam,
you.
you
Training was awesome.
Because
record
we're,
session? Sam,
Sorry. who's
you
speaking?
made recording of your session? You have a video?
I
Because I-
recorded it. I can press stop record now and hopefully it'll start to.
Yeah, I didn't make any recording, so
Okay, I did record mine, so we can send it to everyone.
all people.
Or we'll have to talk offline, John, and figure out how it gets to the group, but.
Thank you much.
This is a lot of work on your part. Thank you.
Yes, a lot of work. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Greatly
Yeah.
appreciated.
Thank you, John.
my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
My
John.
pleasure, George. We'll be in touch. We'll figure that stuff out.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.